Welcome back, Destined Ones. How are you enjoying Chapter 1 of Black Myth Wukong? Are you curious about the original tales that inspired these adventures? Today, we are diving into Chapter 16 and 17 of Journey to the West, the story of the stolen Kasaya, Jinchi, and the Black Bear. And stick around till the end because I will also share some background stories about Zhu Bajie, Sha Wujing, and Bai Longma, as requested by our amazing subscribers from previous videos. If you are a fan of Black Myth Wukong or just love a good mythological tale, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. Before we jump into the story, let's set the stage. This challenge takes place in Chapter 16 and 17 of Journey to the West. Tang Sanzang, the monk on the sacred mission to retrieve the Buddhist scriptures, has recently gained a new companion, Bai Longma, a dragon transformed into a horse after being defeated by Wukong with Guanyin Pusa's help. The journey has been relatively peaceful for about 2 months, but things are take a turn when they arrive at a magnificent temple nestled in the mountains, seeking lodging for that night. This temple, Guanyin Yuan, stands out with grand architecture, indicating it's dedicated to Guanyin, the goddess of mercy. Tang Sanzang, grateful for Guanyin's earlier aid, the tightening spell with the golden circlet to restrain Wukong and the new horse, immediately kneels before Guanyin's statue in deep prayer. Meanwhile, Wukong, half respectfully and half mockingly, starting striking the large bell in the temple, sending out repeatedly deep, resonant sounds. The bell's loud, echoing chime brings the monks rushing to see what's happening. When they see Wukong, they are terrified, mistaking him for a monster or Yaoguai. Tang Sanzang quickly reassures them, explaining their noble mission to retrieve the scriptures starting from Tang China. The commotion also draws the attention of the temple's chief, Elder Jinchi, who is over 270 years old and seldom meets travelers from distant lands. Intrigued, he invites Tang Sanzang and Wukong to join him for dinner. During the meal, Tang Sanzang is impressed by the exquisite tableware and teaware, and he compliments Elder Jinchi on the fine craftsmanship. Elder Jinchi, feigning humility, asks if Tang Sanzang has brought anything equally precious or unique from Tang China, as he and his monk have never traveled so far. Tang Sanzang modestly replies that they carry nothing of great value due to the long and arduous journey. But Wukong, always the bold one, suggests they show the Great Kasaya in their possession. Now, this Kasaya is no ordinary robe. It's one of the 5 great Buddhist treasures bestowed by the Buddha to the team through Guanyin. The other 4 are the ceremonial staff to protect the holder, and 3 circlets with spells to constrain the wearer. The Kasaya has the spiritual power to disentangle its wearer from the cycle of life and death. But Elder Jinchi and the monks, not knowing its true power, laugh at the idea of a robe being considered precious. To prove their point, Elder Jinchi asks his disciples to bring out his own Kasaya collection, accumulated over his 250 years at the temple. Over 12 closets full. A quiet competition begins. Tang Sanzang, wary of showing off their treasure in a foreign place, warns that it could attract thieves. But Wukong, ever confident, dismisses the warning, promising to protect the Kasaya no matter what. As the Kasaya is unveiled from its ordinary package, everyone is stunned by its beauty and splendor. Elder Jinchi, overcome by greed, cannot resist the desire to possess it. He starts sobbing about if he can keep the Kasaya overnight to admire it more closely. Despite his better judgment, Tang Sanzang agrees after Wukong confidently reassures him that he will ensure its safe return. That night, Elder Jinchi is consumed with envy, lamenting to his disciples that none of his Kasayas can compare to Tang Sanzang's. One disciple, Guangzhi, suggests a sinister plan: kill the travelers in their sleep and take the Kasaya. Another disciple, Guangmou, proposes an even more devious plot: surround their quarters with logs and hardwood, set it on fire, and make it look like a tragic accident. Elder Jinchi happily agrees, and they begin to set their plan in motion. However, Wukong, with his sharp ears and senses, hears the unusual sounds outside. Transforming into a small bee, he stealthily observes their preparations. At first, his instinct is to eliminate the threat immediately, but he hesitates, knowing that Tang Sanzang might disapprove of killing and could use the tightening spell to punish him, so Wukong devises a clever alternative. He flies to the Taoist heaven to seek help from Virupaksa, the heavenly king of broad vision. Aware of Wukong's mission to protect Tang Sanzang, Virupaksa is curious about his visit. Wukong requests the fireproof mental vessel to protect his master from the fire, explaining the monk's plot. Although puzzled why Wukong doesn't just extinguish the fire, Virupaksa reluctantly lends the vessel. As the fire starts, Wukong uses the fireproof mental vessel to shield Tang Sanzang, Bai Longma, and their belongings. Then, in a twist, he unleashes a powerful wind, spreading the fire throughout the Guanyin Chanyuan, causing chaos and destruction. Nearby, on Black Wind Hill, lives a black bear Guai, a monster who is a longtime friend with Elder Jinchi. Seeing the temple ablaze, he rushes over, intending to help his friend. But amidst the chaos, his eye falls on the Kasaya, and recognizing its value, he steals it and flees back to his cave. By morning, the fire has consumed the entire temple, leaving it in ruins. Wukong, having returned the vessel to Virupaksa, wakes Tang Sanzang. Upon seeing the devastation, Tang Sanzang questions why Wukong didn't prevent the fire. Doubting Wukong's actions, he even suspects Wukong might have started the fire himself. Wukong explains what happened, but Tang Sanzang's primary concern is the missing Kasaya. He warns Wukong, if there's any damage to the Kasaya, I will use the tightening spell without mercy. Wukong and Tang Sanzang confront the surviving monks about the missing Kasaya. Initially, the monks mistake them for ghosts seeking revenge. When they realize Tang Sanzang and Wukong survived the fire, they lead them to retrieve the Kasaya from Elder Jinchi. However, they find Elder Jinchi dead, having killed himself in despair after losing both the Kasaya and his temple. Enraged by the loss, Tang Sanzang blames Wukong and starts to recite the tightening spell. Wukong writhes in pain as the circlet tightens around his head, and even the monks of the temple plead for mercy on his behalf. After the spell is stopped, Wukong searches the temple for clues. When the monks mention the black bear Guai, Wukong immediately suspects him as the thief. Determined to retrieve the Kasaya, Wukong flies to Black Wind Hill. He quickly spots 3 Yaoguais, a tent man, a Taoist monk, and a scholar in white robes, chatting about a Great Kasaya they recently acquired. Realizing they are celebrating the theft, Wukong attacks. The tent man and the monk flee, but the scholar is less fortunate. Wukong strikes him down, revealing his true form as a white snake monster. Wukong continues his search and finds the cave where the black bear Guai is hiding. They engage in a fierce battle, but the black bear Guai retreats into his cave and seals the stone door. Unable to breach the entrance, Wukong returns to the Guanyin Chanyuan to update Tang Sanzang. As Wukong prepares to return to the Black Wind Hill, he intercepts a messenger Yaoguai carrying a letter inviting Elder Jinchi to a celebration party for the Kasaya. Realizing that Elder Jinchi had dealings with the black bear Guai, Wukong decides to disguise him as Jinchi to trick his way into the cave. The ruse almost works, but another Yaoguai arrives, alerting the black bear that the messenger has been killed. The black bear, realizing the deception, battles Wukong again. The battle is intense, but neither side gains the upper hand, and once more, the black bear Guai retreats into his fortified cave. The next morning, urged by Tang Sanzang, Wukong sets out again, but this time seeks help from Guanyin Pusa in the South Sea. He complains that it's her temple, her monks, and her friendly monster that caused this mess, subtly shifting the blame to Guanyin. But Guanyin, seeing through his excuses, reminds him that his boasting led to the Kasaya's loss and the fire. Nevertheless, Guanyin agrees to help. As Wukong and Guanyin arrive at the Blackwind Hill, they see a Taoist monk holding a plate with 2 alchemical pills. Without hesitation, Wukong strikes the monk down, killing him instantly. Guanyin, witnessing this, rebukes Wukong for killing without cause. Wukong defends his action, insisting that the monk was a friend of the Black Bear and was likely there to join the Kasaya celebration. Upon inspecting the plate, Wukong noticed it bears the name Ling Xuzi, a known associate of the Black Bear Guai. This sparks an idea. Wukong suggests that Guanyin transform herself into the appearance of Ling Xuzi, while Wukong shapeshifts into one of the alchemical pills on the plate. The plan is for Guanyin, disguised as Ling Xuzi, to offer the pills to the Black Bear Guai. Once the Black Bear Guai swallows Wukong disguised as the pill, Wukong would wreak havoc from within, forcing the monster to surrender. Guanyin hesitates but eventually agrees to Wukong's plan. Seeing Guanyin's disguise, Wukong, with a mischievous grin, remarks that whether she is a monster or a pusa, the appearance can be quite deceiving. Guanyin takes this moment to impart wisdom, stating, "Yao Guai or pusa, it all depends on one's will to do good or evil." Once inside, the Black Bear Guai, believing the rules, consumes the pill. Wukong, now inside the monster's stomach, unleashes chaos, causing the monster to collapse in agony. Revealing herself, Guanyin retrieves the Kasaya and uses another special circlet to subdue the Black Bear Guai. Offering him a chance for redemption, he asks if he will take refuge in Buddhism. Fearing for his life, the Black Bear readily agrees. Wukong, still fuming, wants to kill him, but Guanyin persuades him to spare the monster, suggesting the Black Bear Guai could serve as a guardian at her mountain in the South Sea. Wukong reluctantly agrees, returns the Kasaya to Tangsanzang, and they continue their journey west. And there you have it. The story happened at the Guanyin Chanyuan. If you have played the chapter 1 of Black Myth Wukong, you will find so many familiar characters and plots. I believe it will help you understand the gameplay better. If you enjoyed this story so far, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Oh, have you noticed any Liu Bai, the intentional blank space, or subtle hints that suggest something deeper? There are a few moments in this tale that might seem a bit off, or perhaps even absurd, if you think about them. First, consider Wukong's actions throughout the story. Does it seem like he is pushing the situation to the brink, almost to the point of deliberately causing chaos? He hears the monks plotting and decides not to simply stop them, but instead uses this opportunity to burn down the entire temple. And for your knowledge, just 2 chapters earlier, Wukong was tricked into wearing the circlet with the tightening spell, offered by Guanyin herself. That sounds some grudges to me. And then there's Guanyin's role in all this. Notice how she uses another circlet to subdue the Black Bear, much like the one used on Wukong. Remember the 5 great items offered by the Buddha to assist the journey? There were 3 circlets. But unlike Wukong, who joins the Tangsanzang's team, the Black Bear doesn't become a traveling companion. Instead, he ends up working for Guanyin as a mountain guardian. Seems many participants are benefiting from the journey in various ways. In my last video, some of you asked about the background story of the other team members before they joined the journey. While these stories aren't as detailed as Wukong's or Sanzang's, but there are fascinating snippets scattered through the journey to the west. Most of their background story are outlined in Chapter 8, with additional pieces revealed in various dialogues during their encounters with Wukong before joining the team. Let's start with Zhu Bajie, also known as Zhu Wuneng. Zhu Bajie was once a general in the Taoist heaven, leading the celestial navy. However, during the Pantao festival, a grand celebration in heaven, he got drunk and harassed Chang'e, the goddess of the moon. Wang Lingguan, the superior inspector, reported his misconduct, and Zhu Bajie was sentenced to death. Fortunately for him, Taibai Jinxing, the god of Venus, pleaded for mercy on his behalf. The Jade Emperor reduced his sentence to 2,000 hammer strikes and exiled him to the mortal world. Due to a mistake during his reincarnation, Zhu Bajie ended up in the form of a pig. Living as a Yaoguai on Fuling Mountain, he resorted to consuming humans for survival. This continued until he encountered Guanyin, who offered him a chance at redemption by joining Tang Sanzang's journey. After that, he married a woman from the Gao family nearby, initially keeping his human appearance until he couldn't, or chose not to, maintain it any longer. The piggy appearance frightened everyone around, prompting the Gao family to seek Taoist monks to drive him away, leading to his encounter with Wukong and Sanzang. Next, we have Sha Wujing, formerly known as the curtain-lifting general in Taoist heaven, a rank possibly comparable to the head of security for the Jade Emperor. Sha Wujing's downfall also occurred during the Pantao Festival, when he accidentally broke a glass. For this mistake, he was exiled to the mortal world and transformed into a Yaogua in the Liusha River after enduring 800 strikes. His punishment didn't end there. He was also cursed to suffer a flying sword stabbing him every 7 days during his exile. To survive, he resorted to eating humans who attempted to cross the river. The Liusha River is particularly treacherous, lacking enough buoyancy for boats to cross. The only objects Sha Wujing found that could float were the skeletons of 9 monks who had been pursuing the Buddhist scriptures, monks he had killed and eaten. He crafted these skeletons into a necklace. Guanyin promised him relief from his suffering and an end to his torment if he agreed to join Tang Sanzang's team. Lastly, there is Bailong Ma, who was once the son of the Dragon King of the West Sea. His crime? He set fire to his father's great pearl, an act of defiance and recklessness. His father reported his offense to the heavens, and he was sentenced to death. As fate would have it, Guanyin passed by and intervened. She pleaded for his life before the Jade Emperor, offering to spare him in exchange for serving as the horse for Tang Sanzang on his journey. And there you have it, the background stories of the team members. Interestingly, the team also has a secret service unit that protects Tang Sanzang and the mission from the shadows. But we will discuss that in another video. Let me know in the comments which other story from Journey to the West you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay adventurous, destined ones, and see you in the next videos.